How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I've got a new monitor to test out. Now before we get started, I'm just going to unbox it and then I'm going to make a jump cut and then obviously review it. And so I've been actually looking for a monitor, and I wanted a big one because I like to watch movies on this setup over here. It's quiet and everything, and I can just change it to the way I want. And so in this case I've got this 32-inch Samsung monitor, but I'm a bit disappointed because nobody has reviewed it or anything on YouTube, and I kind of understand that because it's 32 inches, it's only 1080p, even 4K out now, 8K is coming. So why would you even look for this monitor? Well, I don't really need 4K right now, and I wanted it big because so I can enjoy movies on it, but I also wanted it to be a proper monitor, which this is. And if you've been looking for a monitor lately, there is a 43-inch one from LG, the one that actually works. But at the time I was looking for monitor, the 43-inch monitors all had problems with the burn-ins and stuff like that, and I was kind of interested in them, but I didn't get those. So what I'm gonna do now is just stop with this crap and then just let's just get it unboxed and set up over here. So this is the original box, but I've actually got this refurbished, so I don't know if it's actually broken or anything, but as you can see here, this is the SF351, if you can read that, it's a 32-inch monitor, it's LED. So let's go ahead and set it up, and yes, it is big. I was looking for a 43-inch one, but because I want to obviously watch movies, so you have a HDMI to HDMI, that's nice. And then you also have the US wall adapter thing, and you also got the UK one, and here's the power brick. Plastic has come off over that, but this is the base, so it's got a bit of weight to it. It's actually got some build quality. And then here's the neck of the thingy, so what I'm gonna do is just pop this in there right now. So basically you get this and you just hook it in here somehow. So you just slide this in, and then you basically tighten this, I think. Alright, so that's tightened up, hopefully you can see that, and then you just drop that down. Damn, that is a flipping huge monitor. Oops. Oh wait, I've got the light here and I'm not using it, whatever. So how am I gonna pick this up? Meant to be picking it up. So I just want to see if it's got any scratches or anything. Seems like it's in new condition, and I think hello, welcome to the really bad quality video. So here we go. So it goes in like this. So it's clicked in, so that seems good enough. I don't want to touch it because obviously it's gonna be but it's a big screen, so I don't think, I think there's gonna be pixelation on it. So what I'm gonna do is just switch to this camera now to show you stuff. So yeah, I'm taking this off. So let's see at the back over here. So it's got a waist mount, so you can mount it on the back of somehow, and it seems like it's gonna fit in very well because it's flat. And that's about it, and that's where the stand goes. Now down here you got the main UI, and this is all there is on it. So you got this is basically a joystick, and it moves up and down, left and right, just like on I guess a PlayStation controller. And you can also click it in, and that basically means you're gonna turn off and on. You also got the power input, and you got 2 HDMIs. Now that's basically it. So basically that means if you have something special, you can't use it with this. If you have speakers, you can't use it with this. You can do nothing with this. This is just purely for viewing. I'll obviously go into the menu and set up and everything, but what I'm going to do is right now just set it up, and I'll just give you a quick look at it and then make a jump cut, and then we get into the review. Okay, so I've just put it down, gonna turn it on. As you can see, the LED indicators on. I'm just gonna turn it on from the back with the joystick. Alright, so there we go. Whoa. Wow, look at that. That is definitely huge. I'm gonna have to get used to this or something. So make sure you're actually projecting onto it, because right now it says duplicate. So I'm just gonna click second screen only. That's why everything was looking a bit too big. There we go. So yeah, that's definitely much nicer. It's glossy, so I can actually see the reflection of the keyboard. But yeah, looking good, bro. The brightness is obviously a really high one, so that is, wow, that is really good. Obviously, in case you're wondering, yes, this is my first monitor. I know I should have got a monitor really long time ago, but I just didn't bother with it. So let's go ahead and make a jump cut. This is how it's like set up. It's pretty bright. Obviously you can change the settings and everything. What I'll do is also go through the settings for you so you can see which kind of options you have to change your display settings and stuff like that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get on with the review. So we'll just make a jump cut. Okay, so it's time for the review of this 32-inch monitor. Let's get on with it. So it has a LED on the front that I kind of missed out on showing you. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it off. So there's the LED. Now basically this LED just shows you the power. If the monitor is turned off, then the LED is going to be on. If the monitor is in standby mode, it's going to be blinking, and when it's on, it's going to be off, so it doesn't get in your way and annoy you. So I just turned it on and it's just going to go off. You can change the settings of this LED in the menu, and you can make it do different things. You can just reverse it if you don't like this, but I've just left it as the default, and this is what it was like. Alright, let's talk about build quality. So the whole thing is made out of plastic, which is one of the things I don't like, and if you actually touch it, it's actually gonna creak. The build quality can use some improvements, but I don't mind because the price is such low, kind of for what you expect, but it works okay. I've been touching the panel to see if it actually gets hot, and it doesn't. It's actually quite cold throughout the whole use. Now I can't tilt up and down, so I'm just going to show you that. I've got it quite far away, pushed back, because it's a big monitor, so you can just go ahead and tilt it up and down. Hopefully you can hear the creaks now. It does tilt up and down quite a bit, but I don't recommend you actually doing it because it doesn't feel good. It feels like it's just gonna crack from the middle because it's made out of plastic, but it does tilt and down, up and down, and that's it. You can't like turn it around. There is no height adjustment, so you can't make it go higher or lower, and there's also no turn around. So you can't turn it around unless you obviously pick up and just move the stand around. That works. So I'm gonna show you the design right now. So I'm gonna have to take the camera off the tripod, so it's gonna be a bit shaky. Hopefully you guys don't mind. So it has a nice looking stand, but I do definitely think it could use some improvement or some changes, but I don't mind because I don't really look at the stand. Now it does have a small bezels around it, around the display, if you can see that on the top, but the thing is they're actually quite big because the monitor is big. It's 32 inches, so they are big, but I don't really find them really distracting or anything. Whatever, I'll just go ahead and go around it and then show you the back. So if you can see that, it's a pretty slim monitor. It's really slim. On the advertising it does say it's about 10 millimeters slim, so it's quite slim. As you can see, it's just the stand, and then there's the cables coming out, the HDMI and the power, that's it. And of course it does have decent viewing angles. I will talk about the display as a whole. I'll just go ahead and put this back on the tripod because it's shaky, it's not nice. Okay, so the design in my opinion has a bit of a different approach. It's kind of more smooth and soft with curves instead of really dodgy angles, but it looks nice. I kind of like it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you through the menus, but I'm gonna go through it quite quickly and explain in really small detail because I don't think it's really important that you go through the menus every day and know everything about it. So it has a joystick at the back, and since it's my first Samsung monitor, using these joysticks it was a bit different. I thought it was more like a PS4 joystick or something, but if you move it up and down, it actually clicks as well. So that's a move up and down, and it actually clicks. And also you can click it in, so when it's not displaying anything and you click it in, it'll show up this menu, and you can obviously click up and down, so it's not moving, it's actually clicking when you move it up and down. But you can actually change a few settings over here, so you can change the source, the iSaver mode, which I'll go into in a bit. You can turn it off, and you can go into the menus, which is what we're going to go into right now. So you got picture, you got your on-screen display, which is this menu screen over here. You got the system, and that's to do with the hardware of the monitor, and you got the information of the monitor. So let's go ahead and jump into picture, which is the most important. To go back, you just move the stick to the left, and that means it's going backwards. It's basically like the PS3 menu, if you call it. And if you want to go forward, you just move it this way to the right, and it actually uses the other enter. So you can change just a few things. You can change the brightness, which I've got. This is standard. You got cinema, which is really bright, and this is basically like just presets. It just changes the saturation and everything, so it just looks better. And you've also got dynamic, but I have it on custom, which is the perfect settings that I find for this monitor. So I'm gonna leave it on that. You can change the brightness, and it gets really bright. Sorry for the background noise. And this is actual brightness. It's not like the other TV thing that I had. That one just changes the black levels. It just makes them brighter or really darker, and that's not proper brightness. And this is proper brightness. I have it on 30, and basically I matched it to when all the whites on a picture is really shining out onto your eyes. So if everything is supposed to be looking bright, it's gonna look bright, so it's gonna shine into your eyes. And whenever it's dark, it's gonna look dark this way. And you can obviously change the contrast and the sharpness. And if you go into the color, you can't change the color. You obviously got the tones over here. It says warm one and cool one, so you can make it cooler or you can make it warmer. But I have it on normal, which I don't know which one it is. And you also got gamma, which I've not really bothered with. So you got this upscale technology, which basically means if you're using a lower resolution, it's going to upscale it, so you can use different filters for that, I guess. But I use this at 1080p, and obviously it does make a difference. This is gone over sharpened a bit, and this one's even more sharper. So you can't make it look more sharper, but I have it on off because it looks the most natural. And you've also got HDMI black level, which basically means it's going to crush the blacks to make it look like it's a cinema display or something like that. But I leave that off because it just ruins the image. It's not the way it's meant to look. Next you have eye saver mode, which basically if you turn it on, it's gonna reduce the contrast quite a bit. I'll just show it over here, and it's gonna make it look a bit warmer, so it's easier on your eyes. So that's with it off. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that on, and there we go. So it basically reduces the contrast. I'm going to leave it off for now because I don't think we're looking at it. And the next one below this is game mode. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch that on right now. And this is game mode. It basically sharpens up the things a little bit, and it makes everything really bright as well. And it basically is good for playing games. So I'll just go ahead and show you the menu again. So you have a few options: on, always on, or just off. And for eye saver mode, you just have on or off. And you got the response time, which I'll also get onto in a bit because I'm going to talk about ghosting and pixelation and all that. But you have the three options: standard, faster, and fastest. And this is the aspect ratio. I just left it on wide, but I'll just put back on auto, I guess. You can't really use that one. I don't know why. It says screen adjustment. So let's go into the on-screen display. Okay, so the on-screen display is basically this menu screen thing here. So you can change the transparency to on and off. I've got it on. You can move the position around, so I can move it to the left or the right, and up and down as well, but I just left it there because it's kind of next to the joystick. And you can change the language to a few different languages. I've got it on English. And you got the display time, which basically is the time of how long it just stays on when you press the joystick. Now let's go into system. So system basically means the hardware, so you can actually change how this display kind of works. So you go eco saving mode, which is basically gonna change the power consumption, but basically it means just gonna change the brightness. Honestly, if you have a low brightness, it's gonna use less power, logically speaking, and stuff like that. So off timer is basically time that it takes to turn the display automatically off. So I don't know why that even exists, but it's good. I've got it off because I don't really need it. And you got PC or AV mode. Now this basically means if you have a TV set box, a satellite box that you can watch TV on, and you got it on HDMI 1, which I've got this PC on right now, you can change it into AV mode, and it's basically gonna turn it into like a TV. I mean, look at that. It's gone completely next level. It's gone oversaturated, crushed everything, and it's not right anymore. So the reason I left it on PC is because this is the actual mapping. It's meant to be looking like this. That's for watching movies. So if you have a TV box, you watch movies, or a Blu-ray player or something, you move that to AV, and you can watch your movies and stuff on that. So you have the source detection, and you got your key repeat time, which basically is the joystick, and you got your power LED working or on standby. So obviously you can have it always on, or you can have it on standby, and there's obviously reset all and just the information of the display. So that's pretty much it. Let's just go ahead and press back and then we're off. Alright, I'm gonna have to hold the camera again because I'm gonna show you the viewing angles. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you around. So just move it up and down. So from the top it looks a bit like that. And I'll actually get into detail in a bit. Don't know if you can actually see that, but whatever. And if you look at it from the front, the blacks are pretty much black. I'll get onto the black levels obviously as well. It is glossy, so it does have a reflection. If I can turn the keyboard light on, hopefully you can see the keyboard light over there. It's right there. It's very annoying, but that's okay because it hasn't really bothered me at all. And then if you look at it from the sides, it does change as well. The black levels are the only things that change. It's got a different image, I guess. So here's what it looks like from the front. And if you look at it from the side, it has definitely changed the brightness, I mean the backlight bleeding, and a little bit of the colors. So we go into a different image. This is the black. Okay, so here we go. We've got a few images over here. The viewing angles are really good, but it does change the backlight and stuff like that a bit. Okay, going through the colors and the black levels, I'm actually quite impressed. So I'll just go ahead and cycle through some pictures. So there's a bit of a redness in this image. Here's all the different colors. Now the colors do pop. What I find is with the red colors, they're actually a bit pixelated. There's a bit more pixelation on them because I think the subpixel is a bit separated from the rest. But that's okay. I'll get into that in a bit. Obviously there's blues, all sorts of different colors that this display can display. What a funny thing to say. It just rhymes. But what I find is the black levels, there's actually, I expected it to be completely black. So if you look at this in the night time, you can actually see the display turned on. So it's not a Super AMOLED display. Now I wasn't expecting it to be as good as an AMOLED, but if you look at it from straight ahead, the black is completely black. You know, if you put it against a different color, it looks completely black. So that's really impressive. It's better than IPS, but the viewing angles are not as good as IPS. And that only shows that the backlight bleed is the only problem over here with the viewing angles. So I'm just going to pick this camera up again and show you the backlight bleed on this black image. So looking at it from the front, I mean, you can't see it right now. Obviously I should have done this at night time, but the display is basically black. I mean, it looks black. But if you look at it from the sides, not that side, obviously it's glossy. Hopefully you can see that it actually does get bright. Oh my god, it's just not going to show it, is it? So the color is a bit black, and then as you can see it gets a bit brighter or something. But obviously I mean, I can't really show you, but there is some backlight bleed and it's not even. So if you're seeing looking at this monitor, you'll find that the corners are a bit it's like it's got a halo effect on. So in the middle is going to be completely black, but onto the edges is going to be a bit whiter. So obviously again you can't see it, but I can. Okay, let's talk about pixelation. Now I don't know what to say really because it hasn't bothered me, but there is definitely pixelation. If you try to look for pixels, you'll definitely and easily just see them. So if I can just zoom into here, this is a big monitor obviously, so I don't know if you can see this, but if you were to stand right up close to it, you can easily see the pixels, but they're most prominent around the red colors. All the other colors seem to be a lot smoother than the red colors when it comes to edges, so it's more like the Retina display. But pixel wise, you can definitely see the pixels. I'll have to show you it on using Windows, so I'll just go ahead and minimize this. Now the icons and everything from a viewing distance, they look fine to me. I haven't had a problem with them. But if you do look at some things up really close, if you try to just pixel peek or anything like that, then you will definitely see some pixels. But again, it hasn't really bothered me because from a viewing angle, from this distance which I view things at, which is where you're sitting right now, which is where the camera is right now, and pixelation hasn't been an issue because I haven't really seen any. Unless you really try to look for some, then obviously there is some pixelation. Okay, so I've loaded up Minecraft just to test some ghosting and stuff out because I have found ghosting to be an issue, but it's not bad. Obviously I'll just show you it right now, hopefully you can get an idea of it. Now because the monitor is big, that doesn't mean everything is a lot more clearer and easier to see. It doesn't mean anything other than the fact that it's big. There is no increase in resolution, just the pixels are bigger. So if you were trying to peek at it to seeing if you can see more things, you won't, because it's just there's nothing different over there. I'll just go ahead and jump down here. Okay, so I've been playing this game and I found that if you look at the sky, there's ghosting. So in the really high contrasty areas, hopefully you can see that. Now the input lag is really low on this monitor. I haven't noticed any. Also one thing is that it says on the specs that is 5 milliseconds response time, but that is definitely not true. That's just gray to gray from Samsung's tests, I guess, but that's not really true. It's actually 16 milliseconds in actual reality. It's actually just 16 seconds. I guess they just test it in one color, and that obviously gives them from gray to gray. That's probably the quickest that I can switch a pixel. So that's obviously going to be 5 milliseconds, but it's more like 16 or 15 milliseconds. I've done the UFO test and that's what I found. So as you can see, if you look at the sky, you can definitely see some ghosting. Now it isn't big of an issue, but the thing is, if you go into the menu over here, I'll just pop up the menu and you can actually change this. So go ahead and pop up the menu, and if you go into this picture and if you go to the response time, and if you set into faster, the ghosting is less prominent, if you can probably see that. Alright, but it's still there. But if you go into standard response time, then there is like really little or no ghosting, and that's because well, obviously it doesn't feel as smooth anymore. It just kind of, it's like same about it. Obviously the response time is gone slower, so basically what means that makes this do is the ghosting that appears is actually blended into the pixel response because it just doesn't refresh as fast. But I've kept it on the fastest, which has the most ghosting, and I haven't really had an issue with it, but because this only happens in really high contrasty areas, like the skies in Minecraft. Now there's ghosting, but obviously it's much more faster and quicker and stuff like that. Now if you were to just walk around, look higher down here or whatnot, look at this ugly house over here, you're not gonna find the ghosting to be a problem. Like I can't really see ghosting over here, but if you look at it in the sky, if you move that around, you can definitely see some ghosting over there, and that is not nice. Hopefully they do improve it. For gaming, I'd say get something different. Not this monitor, not necessarily. The gaming is a huge improvement because it's a big monitor. You can see a lot in it, like it's right into your face. It's massive, so you can zoom out in the field of view settings of your games. Then that's going to be great, but otherwise just stick with a different gaming monitor. Trust me, colors haven't been a problem. Nothing has really been a problem other than just a slight pixelation when I'm using Windows. But when I want to watch movies, that's the reason I got this. Watch movies. It's been really good. I mean, I just love watching movies on it. I just sit back and then there is no pixelation, there's just nothing there. It's all smooth and just watch movies. Now, obviously I can't really show you movies because it's copyright, but obviously would have. Now in terms of flicker, depends on the pattern that you're looking at. There is no flicker on everything other than just one pattern, which I haven't really come across on any websites or anything. So technically speaking, there is no flicker. So it is a flicker free monitor, but if you go ahead and do a flicker test, they're going to show you all different patterns, and one of them will be flicking around. So it's not completely flicker free, but I guess it doesn't matter. Now if you look at this monitor from different angles, from the side I mean, the brightness will change. So I'm just standing behind the camera and I'm looking at it, and the black levels on this wallpaper I've got over here, it's kind of not black. It looks like really dark gray. But if I move my head down and look at it from straight, then the black level is completely black. So the brightness, I mean, it's just the backlight bleeding. It's a TN panel, so the viewing angles are not great. It's just the backlight, the polarizing filter or whatever, it only works from a certain angle, and because the corners of the display are on a different angle compared to your eyes when you're looking at the middle, it's actually going to show you some backlight bleeding. It's not as bad as IPS, so it's definitely improvement. It's definitely fine. I'm completely fine with it. But if you look at the corners, the black levels are not exactly black. They're just a tad bit brighter than black. Okay, just to wrap up this video, there's only one thing that buggers me a bit, and that's that's the modes that it has. So it has two modes. One is game mode and the other one is eye saver mode. And by the way, I kind of missed out one thing. If you just press the joystick down, you can just go to the right and enable eye saver mode, so it's much quicker that way. The only thing that I'm annoyed by is that it doesn't have any other buttons to set as presets. So if you want to just jump instantly into eye saver mode and then go off, you have to reach out to the back and then change it with the joystick. Now game mode is even worse because you have to go right into the menus and change it from there. I guess since it's a monitor, you're not going to be changing a lot of things, because I find it right now, I just find it a bit redundant, because it's a monitor. You set it up and you leave it the way it is for the rest of its life. But in this case, it has some different modes which you might want to enable or not. If you do office work or anything like that, I just leave the eye saver mode on for forever, unless I'm looking at pictures or something. Then just turn it off for just a few minutes or an hour or something like that. But the thing is, you have to get up and change it. So I'd like if they just left some buttons over there or next to the joystick that would be as the preset button. So if you press it, it enables the eye saver mode or something, and they should be programmable in the menus. I mean, I guess obviously they're not going to do it, but I'm just saying it. Oh, by the way, if you can't see that cloud over there, as well as I can see it right now, I can see as good as this cloud. That's a bit brighter, so it might be blown out of the camera a little bit. It's not HDR, but I've just got it to set that way that when everything is bright, the things that are meant to be bright, I've just got them to look bright. That's why I've set the brightness like that, so it just kind of seems like HDR. So watching movies and all that is going to be much better on here. But at the end of the day, I highly recommend this monitor if you want to watch movies, and this is perfect for PS4 and stuff like that. So definitely has nice colors. It has a game mode. It's 32 inches, which is quite big, but for me it's actually gone quite small now, so I want a 43-inch or something like that monitor, not a TV. It's just me. I don't know what it is. Everything I get is kind of big, and then all of a sudden it's small. Got some other pictures as well, you know. Yeah, it's funny. If you can't see that moon over there properly, I can actually see it perfectly fine, but it might be blown out on the camera. It kind of looks like that in the back of the screen. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll answer it. For the price, I think this monitor is definitely worth it, but only get it if you're gonna watch and do entertainment on it. It's not good for work and stuff. I mean, you're not going to get any more space because it's just 1080p. It's not 2K or anything. So just don't bother with that. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again in another video.